Right then, let's continue with topic 3, which will explain the first panel data model called Pooled OLS. Before we proceed, just to give you an idea about the panel data models that we can estimate, there are a number of panel data models, but in this course, we are going to cover the three most widely used estimations, namely Pooled OLS, fixed effects, and random effects. Remember to keep your startup program open with the panel underscore data.dta dataset loaded into your startup program and ready to be estimated. First, let's run the pool OLS estimation. So in startup program, we write this command regress y x1 to get this result. So let's open startup. So let's write the command for pool OLS model regress y x1 and press enter. So you get these results, the same like what you saw in the slide just now. So what does it mean by this result? Let's go back to the slide. It means that we simply run OLS estimation on the panel data and we assume that the error term does not have any unobserved heterogeneity factor whatsoever. In other words, the error term of our model is IID error, and therefore we assume the regressor XIT here, regressor X1 is exogenous and not correlated whatsoever to the error term. In other words, these results indicate that there is a constant intercept here, the intercept, and the slope, which is the coefficient of beta 1 for the regressor X1, that is applicable to all countries in the model. It means we simply run an OLS estimation on the panel data and we assume that the unobserved heterogeneity factor does not exist. Therefore, we can conclude that pool OLS always assumes all countries in the sample data to behave identically. For example, in the context of trade and growth model, the impact of trade on growth is therefore identical for all countries as we assume there is no unique characteristic whatsoever in the data. However, we must remember that this assumption is quite strong, and pool OLS may eventually encounter heterogeneity bias if this assumption does not hold. In other words, when the unobserved heterogeneity indeed exists in our panel data, the pool OLS model is no longer consistent and unbiased. To clearly see the constant intercept and slope explaining the relationship between the y and the regressor x, we can run this command tw scatter yx1, comma m label in bracket country, double pipe sign. You can see on the button above the enter button on your keyboard, followed by lfit yx1 to get this graph. So let's write the command tw scatter yx1, comma m label in bracket country, and then the double pipe sign lfit yx1. Press. So you get this graph. So what does it mean by this graph? It shows all countries are assumed to be identical as far as the relationship between x1 and y is concerned. So that will be all about the pool OLS model.